Now, the recent operation by Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have seen the joint forces of the UPDF and FARDC eliminate key prominent leaders of rebel groups in the thickets of the DRC. Notably, a notorious ADF commander named Lubanga was killed along with 3 fighters in the Mwalika Valley in North Kivu province. Ivan Kahwa reports.
UPDF and FARDC forces have killed a notorious ADF commander who has been involved in several invasions in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. The rebel leader known as Lubanga was killed along with 3 other fighters in Mwalika Valley, North Kivu province in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Gallant UPDF officers were able to recover at least 2 guns were recovered.
In a coordinated effort, the Joint Security Task Force apprehended 34 individuals in Karugutu sub-county, Ntoroko district, following intelligence reports of suspected ADF rebels hiding in Kisege village.
So that is why we carried out this operation. But we continue to intensify both our foot and motorized patrols, especially along ungazetted entry points in the districts of Ntoroko, Bundibujo, Kasese Chibale, and Kabarole. We cannot mention these ungazetted points because you would be sending out your intelligence, but the fact remains that they are ungazetted entry points.
Law enforcement authorities have taken into custody students from St. Charles Ruanga Secondary School in Shema district. The students are alleged to have made threats of carrying out terror attacks against their school and neighboring districts.
The anonymous letter was written by Mwesije Innocent, aged 16, and in senior one student who has just joined, assisted by another senior 1 classmate called Ayebare Amon, aged 17. They claimed they wanted to scare the school administration for having punished them after one of the dormitory captains reported them for indiscipline.
This week, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is expected to address the nation on matters concerning anti-terrorism and crime across the country. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has hailed the late businessman Apollo Nyegamehe for his dedicated service to Uganda and the East African community and for establishing Aponye Uganda Limited, an entity, according to the President, that has supported the economic stability of many. Museveni's eulogy has been delivered by the senior presidential envoy to the President, Right Honorable Ruhakana Rugunda, during their requiem mass to celebrate Aponye's life at Rubaga Cathedral here in Kampala. Take a watch.
He moved 379 kilometers from Rukidi to Kampala in the early 80s. Came without a name but with a vision.
Mr. Nyegamehe will be considered dead if what he has stood for in life, what he has believed in life, is finished. He showed me the value of money. That money is not about you having it in big numbers. Money is not about you accumulating it.
And that is Apollo Nyegamehe, a man whose household name Aponye is drawn from his business empire.
Apollo was more than a friend to me. Apollo was like a father to me. He was a mentor to me.
In Apollo Nyegamehe, we see so many fruits that he has produced.
This has been part of the eulogies during the Monday, 10th July 2023 Mass at Rubaga Cathedral in Kampala, organized to celebrate his life.
Ashamed of the things I have done.
He belonged to a generation of business community, especially from our area, who were not very educated but have made so much impact on our economy.
For the family members, some believe all hasn't been lost. Apollo is no more.
Our father was an honorable man, a great man who lived a life of integrity, a loving father who cared about all his children and he was always careful to know the details pertaining to each and every child, their circumstances, their needs, how he could help us to do better, to be better, and that was evidenced through his high commitment and investment in educating us all.
At a certain point, the widow became emotional. She broke down as she recalled the last moments of her husband.
Ati twahika litojo akanya kati turaza kusiburana mpulire simu yacwekaho hati ndi trying egumira nyereka ngo yaba busy kumsikia mirundi eshatu mbona hayijiramu eya MP weturoranda ati madam ndi ati muzehe yakaba ati muzehe yafa.
For friends and business compatriots, they have hope that in his children, Aponye left a legacy.
My only fear is if we don't maintain Aporo's legacy, Aporo will die with many people.
He empowered the children. You saw the children come here in substantial numbers. You heard their clear message. And indeed, their appreciation for the empowerment that Aponye gave them. I have no doubts that this was a great investment by Aponye.
Besides securing a credit in the entrepreneurship industry, Aponye has been a leader and an NRM loyalist.
The country and indeed the region has lost a dedicated patriot, a Pan-Africanist, a binding entrepreneur with great honor, who has made strategic investments, and above all, a loyal and dependable cadre of the national resistance movement.
Kandi ndashaba abandi mumwegere. Mwegere Aporo trusted President Museveni, and the president trusted him and stood by him. So I urge all of you business community, you are lucky you have a president who is very, very deeply concerned.
The senior presidential envoy and former premier Dr. Wakana Rukunda represented His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni during this mass.
I got the sad news of the death of Aponye, our big supporter and active economic actor. Condolences to his family and the Ugandans in general. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Signed, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Shortly after the prayers, Aponye's body was taken to Rukidi district for a service and where he will be laid to rest on Wednesday 13th July 2023. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
And may the soul of Aponye continue to rest in peace. Now today, July the 10th, 2023 has marked the end of term of office for village local council administrative units across the country. In an interview with a section of local council leaders, many of them expressed fear of legal implications if they continue operating, especially if government does not act.
This 10th of July 2023 marks the end of the 5-year tenure of office of the local government council chairpersons. Prior to the expiry of the term of office of LCs, the Electoral Commission is mandated to organize elections in accordance with the law. The Local Government Act stipulates that if the Electoral Commission does not hold elections, the local government minister has the power to extend their term to at least 6 months.
For a period not exceeding 6 months, where there is war, where there is emergency, where there is a disturbed area.
Even though the local councils reserve the advantage of 6 months extension, the Electoral Commission has not even secured any funds to organize elections. Last week, the Prime Minister told the House that the money to conduct local council elections is not in the budget for this financial year.
The money to conduct elections for LC 1 and LC 2s is not in the budget.
A section of local council chairpersons have fear over the illegality of their stay in office, as the minister has not yet guided.
There are people asking like 10 letters. Can I get 10 today so I keep? If tomorrow I need a letter, I will use. You see already the crisis we are in.
The chairman, Shauliako B. Bashir Muwonge, says it's right for the government to postpone the local council elections, especially in situations of economic crisis. The Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majeze, last week told Parliament that they are in talks with the Minister of Finance and the Office of the Attorney General to ensure that local council units continue operating.
And will ensure that the LOC chairpersons remain working with the necessary guidance. We'll provide that early next week.
However, in the legal perspective, Counsel George Musisi noted that any transaction or service provided by the local council units after expiry of their term of office will be rendered unlawful and can be challenged in court.
A court without jurisdiction cannot issue anything legal. Therefore, any action done by local council units beyond the term limit, beyond today, even if government has purported to extend, will be unlawful because the Constitution prescribes the term limit of the offices.
He has advised government to rather table a constitutional amendment of extending the term of office to 10 years to address financial hiccups rather than defend an illegality.
The only thing government should have done is, one, to bring a constitutional amendment. Otherwise, there cannot be any legal attempt of extending the term limit of these people who are elected for strictly a 5-year mandate.
This is not the first time government fails to conduct local council elections owing financial challenges. Susan Naung and Joseph Muyingo reporting for EBC TV.
Now, the Prime Minister, Right Honourable Robin Nabanja, has urged Kagadi residents to embrace peace and security for enhanced household development. Nabanja was speaking at the welcoming event of Hajat Hadija Mbiemire, Haji Ishmael Tindiewa and Haji Bahayan Museveni from Mecca and Medina. The function took place at their home in Mohoro Town Council, Kagadi District.
Right Honourable Nabanja has asked Kagadi residents to utilize the prevailing peace and security to work hard and eradicate poverty in their homes. Nabanja says the NRM government has put up structures to enable every Ugandan to work and improve on their incomes.
Asaha zino wetwali tumaliza omwaka nkana isura buli saako eina milioni 10 kituufu abati kiri kituufu okazikoleraki ba president bona bagaba sente ngubata kuzigaba buli kitu tumukoma na ye akwenda noli atakabaire kwejumbira mukukora ajagole.
She, however, said that government is working hard to eliminate the ADF rebels in DR Congo and also improve infrastructure. Nabanja donated 5 million shillings cash and pledged more 5 million support towards the family of late Hajat Saida.
The lowest common motive of development is security and peace. Kurora muhoro antisaha zino mugombeka kalina konka. Businge bakusobola zombeka ya Sudan. Okusaza twala yo Somalia. Twino businge.
The Prime Minister says despite the other poverty alleviation programs, the Myoga program is still progressing well and asks Ugandans who do not fit in the PDM to participate in the Myoga program for income generation.
President Museveni akayiya yagamba abantu bano aba boda boda, aba kapeta, aba saluni, aba restaurant yagamba inyo mukwatirawo mu Myoga. Mulimuoga na kuteka mu sente stali toito ati akajja kurora tuyambire banu baitwera ro abantu abakyasigayireyo taina kyakuteka rugudo akabanja akaina naye bakujja kutekeza kugula embibo taina na 10 oyesanga no akwera nawe narunda nafuna ubundi embuzi ubundi enkoko atali musiramu narunda akali kamutambuza dembe.
Kagadi leaders, led by the Buyaga West Member of Parliament, said Kagadi has a number of challenges ranging from low electricity distribution, shortage of water, and land grabbing.
Industry tugende mbya makoro baitu tuina masanyarazi ka kurbatira harugudo hanu bora karuga hanu kuhona pembeni kusai masanyarazi.
Haji Hussein, the regional assistant to the Mufti of Uganda in charge of Bunyoro and Toro, thanked President Museveni for the peace and security, but asked government to support the construction of 2 mosques in Kagadi and Mohoro town councils.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, tukusaba abasiramu abali mu district enu na district ezindi tusaba mubongere emirimu habokuba alhamdulillah ntisima mukama ruhanga abasiramu hati basomere baingi muno mu fields zembaganiza.
Now, Forum for Democratic Change, FDC party, has urged courts to instead ask for national identity cards from people who are going to stand for surety for suspects instead of letters from local council leaders. The FDC deputy spokesperson John Kikonyogo says authorities are responsible need to look for funds to conduct LC1 and 2 elections to avoid being in office illegally.
The Electoral Commission asked for over 60 billion Ugandan shillings to conduct elections for local council 1 and 2 chairperson this year, but government has not yet gotten the funds for this exercise. Government, however, revealed plans to extend the terms of office of the existing LC1s and LC2s, which Forum for Democratic Change party say is not provided for in the law. The deputy spokesperson FDC, John Chikonyogo, says this is an important office through which services reach to people in the grassroots.
A situation where you apply for bail, you get a letter of LC1, and the representative of the DPP will tell you that letter is invalid because the office expired. Even a proposal to court that for the time being, instead of asking for letters which can confirm whether I come from a village B or X, they can use national identity cards for the time being.
On the just concluded by-elections in Bukedea and Oyam, FDC says continue to indicate the Electoral Commission seems not to be in charge. FDC agrees with President Museveni's letter on Bukedea election.
In Bukedea was similar. I agree with him there, with what was happening during Obote's time. Who are armed soldiers or policemen would knock on your door, break into your door and take you out. What happened in Bukedea is exactly the same. The EC, which is supposed to be in charge of the police, because during elections, that police which is working should be under EC. The EC just watch, record, and wait for instruction to announce. They are not in charge of the exercise anymore.
Chikonyogo also commented on the statement made by the chairman NRM Electoral Commission Tango Doi and that one for Jimmy Akena, President UPC, after the Oyam elections.
To wait for anybody else, the first witness to that, those people who committed treason, is Mr. Tango Doi. He told the world that there are some members of staff from NRM Secretariat who went to Oyam to mess around with the voting. Although himself, have you ever found someone who has won elections and he forgets to celebrate, but he continues to complain of the excesses in elections? This is a living example in Oyam.
FDC sends condolences to the family of Abakon Gutmoy, former MP Erute County North, who died in an accident over the weekend. I'm Nafka Farida and Juman Samba in Najana Nkumbi.
The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, has restricted the DNA testing to only 2 laboratories in the country, and those are the Government Analytical Laboratory and MBN Clinical Laboratory, all based here in Kampala. Now, she was addressing the media on DNA testing in the country at the Ministry of Health headquarters.
Only the 2 certified and accredited laboratories, that is the Government Analytical Laboratory in Wandegea and the MBN Clinical Laboratory on Nakasero Road, both in Kampala, shall be allowed to do DNA paternity testing in Uganda for now. 2, the DNA paternity testing laboratory shall demonstrate robust system of data management with strict data security to avoid misuse of personal data. 3, no laboratories and clinics will be allowed to collect samples for DNA paternity testing unless they have agreements with the laboratories to which they send samples for testing, and the testing laboratories take full accountability for the results. There have been suspicions that some unscrupulous agents might have smuggled fake equipment or reagents, can call them kits, for DNA paternity testing into the country. I have been informed of some rapid diagnostic tests purported to be home-based DNA test kits, some of which are available online. These RDTs, or rapid diagnostic tests, are not validated for use in Uganda and therefore are not allowed into the country, whether for use in public or in the private sector. Government interventions. I want to caution Ugandans not to use these rapid kits or accept these alleged rapid DNA test kits to be used for testing them, because they will get wrong results. The ministry will continue to provide standards and regulatory oversight necessary to ensure that all laboratory processes, including DNA paternity testing, guarantee quality and reliability of the laboratory test results.
Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng ending that story there. We'll now take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more.
Uganda waraji batusako manrane chikona tena tekobu seko season yakuna savu July kuma mount papa's hall usasure kwa MTN mobile money usasura gumu chitundu MTN usasure nega komitano iga sistemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ofune tiketi yokati wabula kumulyango usasure mitwale ebiri yepe mitwale 5 ate meza ya milioni 2 munana July koni ni hotel mkono mwenda July Nikan Resort Airways 15 July France Africa Jinja abiri mbili July Maria Flema Saka abiri mwenda July Afro Club Eka Sangati ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo wafujini dwa musente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Waraji ne
MTN. At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets
class, get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something, but the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 billion were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the National Suppliers Database. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. Elizabeth Nakakoni is on sign language, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now, stakeholders in the energy sector on the African continent have urged governments to mobilize local funds to limit the over-reliance on foreign aid and loans to implement hydropower and water shortage investments. This was during the 4th International Conference and Exhibition on Water Storage and Hydropower Development for Africa held in Munyonyo.
There are 54 nations represented at the 4th International Conference and Exhibition on Water Storage and Hydropower Development for Africa, focused on enhancing cross-border collaboration for transboundary schemes, challenging sites, and climate resiliency towards power generation.
The contractual strategy for development of new projects and rehabilitation projects should be optimized to improve dam safety.
Innovation is needed to boost the transition. Hydropower is expected to provide more flexibility, more storage from sub-seconds to seasonal storage, and generally more balancing capabilities to compensate the fluctuating generation from unregulated renewables and help reducing curtailment.
The huge sums of capital required for power generation investment has kept many African countries indebted with untimely project completion. Stakeholders recommend local resource mobilization.
For Uganda, we expect to get money from the oil and gas. It is ring-fenced for infrastructure, and this includes electricity infrastructure, generation, transmission. Conference as well, we expect people to discuss how we can raise money as countries that are concerned about a power generation plant.
Financing from the private sector, financing from the government, and financing from capital markets.
The African Development Bank is devising favorable loan policies to incentivize African countries towards hydropower development and water storage infrastructures.
For infrastructure development for Africa, and is supporting the development of the Continental Master Plan, where we're advising countries to embrace projects that address cross-border and regional energy integration gaps.
The adverse effects of climate change. And one of the things that has been discussed is to build reservoirs.
Member states are encouraged to diversify and adopt modern power generation methods which are accustomed with climate dynamism.
As you will note, the production of hydropower is one of the uses of water resources at our disposal. Therefore, the sustainability of water resources is key to harnessing the potential of hydropower development within Uganda and the continent at large.
Experts in the energy sector propose urgent need for reliable and sustainable hydropower industry. Abdul Nasser Lubwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Now to the courts of law, where prosecution witness Detective Jacob Okello has narrated to court how Francis Onebe was planning to escape to Britain after the disappearance and murder of his wife Immaculate Onebe Asio. Detective Okello is prosecution witness number 4 in the murder case of Immaculate Onebe Asio, wife to the accused Onebe Francis. We have more on this story.
High Court Criminal Division before Judge Mike Rubu is proceeding with the hearing of the case where Francis Onebe and bodyguard Oriokot Bone are accusing the murder of Immaculate Onebe Aiso, wife to Francis Onebe. Prosecution witness number 4 was Detective Jacob Okello, the investigative officer in this matter, who was by then attached to CID Chibuli. Detective Okello told court that on 7th January 2021, they received a disappearing case from Kabalagala Police Station for investigation of a one Immaculate Onebe Aiso, and the case was reported by Francis Onebe, husband to Immaculate Onebe. Basing on the interrogation with the accused, Onebe Francis and Oriokot Bone, it was confirmed that on the fateful day of 6th January 2021, Immaculate Onebe returned home after buying food items at around 11 p.m. Although Onebe tried to trace her, all was in vain.
Which includes publication in both social media, electronic and print media. That instead, some of them ended up taking his money and not yielding any result. Informed Okello Charles that he had not found his wife at home, and so Charles should come and they join hands in tracing for her.
Okello told court that upon tracing Immaculate Onebe whereabouts, they were later told that Francis Onebe wanted to escape to Britain as he was working on his travel documents. This led to Onebe's arrest on 8th September 2021 when he reported to Kabalagala Police Station.
That we got tips from an anonymous, a person who preferred anonymity. With that information, we mounted a search for him. But incidentally, as we were settling to think of what next to do, Mr. Ochom decided to call Onebe Francis direct. And he was armed with some travel documents, including medical report, which recommends him to go to Aga Khan Hospital.
Upon search at Francis Onebe's home in Munyonyo, Mawanga zone, they discovered the Immaculate Onebe's body dumped in a septic tank. Detective Okello Jacob told court, basing on the way the body was discovered in the septic tank, it seemed that it was a planned murder.
My lord, the piles of those wooden materials, iron seats, door shutters were properly arranged, and it was a big heap, which implies that it took somebody time to pile them, and the person who piled them cannot be a stranger.
Court resumed on 11th July 2023 for further hearing of the matter. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now, feminist-driven organizations in the Great Lakes region have intensified measures to prevent sexual and gender-based violence among girls and women. The Executive Director, Mentoring and Empowerment Program for Young Women, Immaculate Onebe, says with support from Medica Mondiale, CFAR2 program, the victims are empowered with real-life skills trainings and community involvement in protecting a girl child.
Civil societies on prevention of sexual gender-based violence against girls and women from Rwanda, Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda have held its first Great Lakes Regional Medica Mondiale CFAR2 program beneficiaries convention in Kampala for a collective action towards prevention and protection on the rising gender-based violence.
And we are together fighting to end sexual and gender-based violence. So we support survivors of gender-based violence, and these are mostly the children. Some of them have gone back to school, others have started income-generating activities, and they are positively contributing to the community.
The Executive Director, Mentoring and Empowerment Program for Young Women, MEMPRO, Immaculate Onebe, says the program impact to the beneficiaries in West Nile districts.
Support them in various ways. One, to regain their confidence, value themselves again, but also get to it to see that they are empowered and they see opportunities beyond what happened to them. And then we support them to get out of the trauma of being raped, but also the trauma of being forced into marriage for some of those who were forced into marriage, but also the trauma of the stigma around them.
A 20-year-old Gloria Sakara from Arua district, who was molested at 16 years due to lack of sanitary wear, says her life has been transformed.
I thought I was nobody. I thought I won't go back to school. But out of this project, I'm unable to go to school. I'm able to support my son, even though the parents are not there, even though my parents are not there, but I'm having that confidence. And they should have that confidence that one day there will be somebody in the future.
The program manager, CFAR2, Caroline Paparu, affirms that the program is working closely with communities to prevent gender-based related violence against girls and women in the districts of Arua and Zombo.
The women advisors come into play. We ask the girls to each identify a woman in the community that they are comfortable with, whom we then build capacity on basic counseling skills and knowledge.
Children actually are good mobilizers. See, Mama, what you are doing to Daddy is not good. Daddy, what you are doing to Mommy is not good. And this is actually how people are picking up.
The 2021 MEMPRO findings show that in West Nile, at least 64% of girls and women face sexual gender-based violence, and ranks second after Eastern Region. Sudat Kaye and Robert Whiter, UBC News.
To Teso sub-region now, where Minister of State for Works, Musa Echeru, has embarked on the drive to have all broken bridges that were recently washed away by heavy downpour in Teso sub-region fixed. Echeru says the campaign is aimed at easing access of basic social and economic services in rural areas.
Hydropower Bridge is among the major bridges that have been washed away by the recent downpour in Amuria district, hence affecting service delivery.
Now I'm going to take the Kasaba, but the road is not good. It's very difficult to pass the other side right now.
So what are you going to use?
I'm going to use a head to carry the Kasaba.
We have a hospital. Like Mila, there a big one, the other one, but there is no way of passing there.
The broken bridge has left people in both sides with no option but to trek for long distances to access for service delivery.
If you want to go, you go a long route after Muria, then you pass this way, or Balanga side, then you go this way. But when it is full of, no, you cannot pass.
Being the first season of harvest, some of the locals are stuck with their produce at home after failing to access the market.
From the other side there. So we miss, there are some people who are coming to buy us cassava, granite, so there is no way of passing here to come and assist us. So it stops this way.
This prompted the Ministry of Works and Transport to carry out a survey to assess the magnitude of the damaged roads and bridges for intervention.
This is the second swamp we are going to work on, which really needed, the lowest points needed a box culvert. But apparently, with the scope of work, we are going to install 2.1 millimeter diameter culverts. Then these other works, we are going to raise the swamp close to 400 meters.
The rehabilitation of roads and broken bridges in the district is expected to boost the transformation of parish development model project.
Now, once that you do that bridge, all the rice that is produced from Aleppo will end up in Ogurok, in Jejo Dongo's place. All the rice, they are big rice producers. Now, these people will now go and bring that rice and take it to Akoromit, where there is little rice, but a lot of animals like goats, like cows. These characters, this side don't have cows, they don't have goats. So you can go and sell the rice there, buy the goats and take it this side.
Joseph Oko, UBC.
Parents, law enforcers, corruption and politicians in the Lango sub-region have been cited as contributors to violation of child rights. Now, this issue was raised by youth leaders from various districts in Lango during the Pre-Youth World Population Day dialogue, which was held in preparation for World Population Day celebrations on July 11th in Aleptong district.
Ahead of World Population Day celebrations, various stakeholders met with youth leaders in the Lango region to identify the causes and means of preventing teenage pregnancies, early marriage and school dropouts in northern Uganda. During the Pre-Youth World Population Day dialogue, youth leaders highlighted that parents and law enforcers often connive with culprits in violating children's rights. Eve Namtian, the female councillor of Amria district, and Among Shakila Mwenyi, the deputy speaker of Lira City, attributed child marriage to the desire for wealth among parents.
The mother or the father, or even both the mother and the father, tells the young child that when you go to court, don't accept that you're below the age of 18. You testify that you're above 18 years old. And now, because the children trust so much in their parents, they will not know the implication of what they are going to testify in court.
The community itself and also at school, you find that there are actually schools or teachers that are actually influencing these young teenage girls into having sex with them.
Julia Nakulu, the RDC of Alebotongo, blamed parents for neglecting their responsibilities towards their children.
There are parents that they don't have even a single time of, like, maybe first putting their children down and have that time of chatting with them, bringing them to know certain things concerning their lives as they are living in this world.
The Director General of the National Population Council appealed to youth leaders to encourage youth people to participate in presidential skilling programs.
Youth leaders can promote skilled development programs that equip young people with vocational and entrepreneurial skills by providing opportunities for economic empowerment. They reduce the risk of early marriages and increase their likelihood of staying in schools.
Mondo Chateka, Commissioner for Youth and Children Affairs in the Ministry of Gender, advised youth to report any observed societal evils.
Don't say, after all, it doesn't concern me. What concerns society concerns you. Martin Luther King Jr., doctor, said the society begins to wither, rot, and die away the moment we keep quiet about things that matter.
The main stakeholders, Naguru Teenage Information and Health Center and NFPA, emphasized the need for more awareness in Lango about early marriages.
I've also noticed we need to build capacity of youth leaders, since the structures we are looking at as avenues of reaching young people directly. we need to build their capacity in sexual and reproductive health because we know they can move masses.
We need to remember that our voices count. So let's speak, yeah? Let's speak, let's engage. There could be a lot of different ways to engage. There could be a lot of frustration, especially because we are young.
The pre-youth dialogue was attended by youth leaders from the regions of Lango, Acholi and West Nile, and it was organized under the theme, The Role of Youth Leaders and Movements in Preventing School Dropouts and Improving Household Incomes. Masia Kelo, Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say.
Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles?
So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100 *1# and select Call All Networks.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Artificial intelligence is fast shifting from heavy data industries where it is used to analyze heavy data sets to almost every business sector. In Uganda, the trend and usage of AI has significantly picked up over the years, and according to experts, its adoption is unstoppable. Frequent users acknowledge AI for saving labor and increasing productivity. Dennis Tigoa gives us more.
Artificial intelligence for any basic user starts with whoever uses the phone. When you type and the words that you sequentially type all the time, the moment you come back, the phone automatically suggests the common words.
But it doesn't end at text. Artificial intelligence or AI capabilities are beyond just being able to type or being able to read. Well, search engines like Google, Bing, MSN, Yahoo, and all that have capability to allow us access information that they have archived over time. On the other hand, bots like ChatGPT allow you to create an interactive conversation and session with a computer, with a phone, and have engagement. For instance, if you visit a doctor today and you feel like the doctor lied to you about your status, you can engage with an AI bot and ask them, okay, I am having this kind of issue, I'm having this kind of pain here. What would be my challenges? And AI will tell you.
From the Ugandan user's experience, AI is a game changer. The tools are acknowledged for saving labor, curbing fraud, and boosting efficiency.
It's an advantage to the new inventions that human breed comes along with. So for me, it's something that is very important to take consideration of as a technology that is inventing, but you should also measure the disadvantages versus your exposure to it.
However, there are emerging concerns, and these include misinformation, privacy concerns, loss of jobs, and the so-called singularity in which AI surpasses human intelligence.
From my own experience, I've over the last 5 months been able to save 2 hours for every 3 hours I used to work using AI. Why? I don't need to worry about so many things that I don't know about. Instead, I will ask a chat GPT about what he knows about the thing I want to know, and I'll start from there to search my Google and everything. It's an enabler. It is not taking away any jobs, but it is making those who are working less get so challenged. So it's a challenge for lazy people. If you don't want to work, AI will beat you. Why? Because me, myself, I can't be replaced by AI. The things I do, I can do them, and I can do them better than ChatGPT and any other AI tool. But if you think you should not be working, if you will report to office at 8 and you want to take tea up to 10, AI is going to take your job.
Day-to-day applications of AI include personalized shopping, fraud prevention, voice assistance, facial recognitions, robotics, chatbots, among others. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
The International Computer Driving License has launched the Digital Explore program to help government agencies and institutions of learning enhance digital skills among youth and the working class. The ICDL Chief Executive Officer, Damien O'Sullivan, says the Digital Explorer program serves all forms of classes.
So we are showing that not only...
The International Computer Driving License, ICDL, is a digital program which gives students an opportunity to enhance their digital competence and gain practical skills required for professional landscape.
It helps me. I'm able to help my parents with their work and fellow teachers at school. This has helped my fellow students at school to grow, especially in the digital world.
It was my grandmother who I started with. She is ahead of a circle and she had to keep records. But with the way she was typing in information, it was actually slowing her down. So when I realized that, I was like, you know what, Grandma, I can actually help you. So I introduced her to functions and formulas and all those small things that actually make computer life easier.
Experts say Ugandans need to adapt to the changing technologies that are time-saving.
For Uganda, what it's losing is time. This is a sector that develops rapidly, and there is a need from industry, from private sector, from investors for a skilled workforce. So that critical aspect is time. So because technology is changing so fast, we have to move more quickly.
However, government needs measures that subsidize internet rates and other digital accessories that come along.
There are considerations being fronted, especially from, let's say, the ICT Association, to engage government to get to appreciate that the technology and the internet are no longer just a luxury, but they're a factor of production. Now, if they're a factor of production, the way you incentivize access to land, the way you incentivize access to manufacturing and whatever it is the same way you should incentivize access to digital devices and the infrastructure that comes with it.
We have other schools, let's say for example UPE schools, whereby sometimes the language is a bit complex, right? The language is not easy to understand, so that's one problem I think they should work on, whereby we introduce translations, whereby it can be done in Luganda, it can be done in Unyankore, so that all over Uganda, it's not only Kampala that actually has ICDL, but the entire Uganda as a nation.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has encouraged investors to invest in rural areas. The minister has also reassured them that government will extend electricity and improve the road infrastructure so that the rural population provides the labor.
This is the 500 acres Emerge integrated farm located in Chichusa sub-county, Luwere district, belonging to Professor Paul Kiwika, the agriculturalist and environmental scientist from Makerere University. The farm has poultry, mangoes, cattle, goats. The proprietor, Professor Paul Kiwika, says he requires electricity and roads to start value addition.
We don't want to operate like any other smallholder farm because all of us will be crying together. And nobody can help the other. Now we are actually going into value addition.
This was during the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo visit to the farm in Chichusa sub-county. The minister commended the proprietor, Dr. Kiwika, for employing youth.
I want to assure you that you have the support of government.
That's what we've been praying for.
The support of government. Government will give us power.
Yes.
Government will work on.
We've been praying for that.
If you can do those two things for me,
yes,
employment, teaching, sharing.
Actually, that's one of the things that we want to coach, a kind of mentor.
Dr. Muyingo promised Professor Kiwika to request President Yoweri Museveni visit the farm in Luwero. The minister, accompanied by district local leaders, also visited several communities at Kamira and Chichusa sub-counties to encourage them embrace PDM. The communities commended government for embarking on the construction of roads. Minister Muyingo also launched Bamunanika Youth Development Program of 50 youths to train communities on livelihood programs.
The biggest, the baddest East African Christian Marathon is here. Come participate at the East African Christian Marathon for a prayer run on the 13th of August 2023 at the Lugogo Hockey Grounds. Come represent your family at the prayer run and run for a good cause to build the first call center, which will be East Africa's virtual listener. Come for the prayer run alongside your pastors, leaders, representatives from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, South Sudan, and of course Uganda. Participate with Honorable Captain Mike Mukula, who is the chief runner and patron. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Make your donation for your kid now from 20,000, 30,000 and 100,000 Uganda shillings, because runs change the world. For more details, call 0781 885 055 or visit our website at www.eastafricachristianmarathon.org. Proudly sponsored by PKF, UPC, Venro Health, Aquafina, and Moving Preacher.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at an item on sports. We're looking at badminton, where Harriet Nakaima of Uganda has won a silver medal at the just concluded Para Badminton International Championship on Sunday, July the 9th, 2023. The championship saw athletes from 26 countries competing fiercely for top honors.
After a long week of constantly knocking on the door, Harriet Nakaima finally gave Uganda something to cheer about. Harriet was the only Ugandan to win a medal, losing the gold medal match to India's Palak Kohli.
Mbadde sina training emala. Opponent singa mbadde nga nina training emala. Twakabadde nga mukuba. Kubanga olwadde ye musingako. Naye ye abadde ne training emala.
The tournament served as a platform for athletes to showcase their skills ahead of future events.
And Uganda as a country, we have performed very well because this time around our players performed and they were on the podium, and that's not easy, because being on the podium, it must be focused, determined, and you know what you want. So this tournament has added points to our players to make sure that they can achieve what they want to do. That means qualifying for the Paralympic Games, that is in Paris 2024.
Uganda will now shift its focus to the Africa Para Badminton Championship, which will take place from Tuesday, July 11th to Sunday, July 16th, 2023.
It has attracted 12 countries because these were here already, but even others who are not in this one are coming to play this tournament. They are arriving today and tomorrow.
Masha Miro for UBC.
And that brings us to the end of News Tonight. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But we shall also be having our final bulletin at 10 p.m. But right now, we'll leave you with a ministerial statement on the World Population Day.
Fellow countrymen and women, tomorrow, Tuesday, July 11th, 2023, our country will join the rest of the world to commemorate World Population Day. The national function will be held in Batong district at the Batong Boma grounds, and His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, is expected to be the guest of honor. The theme for this year's World Population Day is prioritize free education, prevent school dropouts, and improve household incomes. This theme highlights one of the biggest development challenges